Yes? Awesome. Hey, everyone, how are you doing? Good? Oh, thank you. Again, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here at the DevOps UK. I really, really love the spirit of this conference. I'm so happy to be here. And today is Tools in Action, so probably your last talk of the day. And it's all about MCP. So that's so funny because when I submitted this talk back in January, I was saying, hey, last year was the year of RAG. This year will be the year of MCP. And for me, it was a bit like a joke. And I didn't expect the whole craziness that happened since then around MCP. And to be honest, I still don't understand the whole craziness about MCP because it's great. We need it. It's useful. But it's not that revolutionary. And I hope I will be able to demystify a little bit what is happening around MCP. Okay? Few words about myself. I'm Sebi. I'm a developer advocate. My job is to make developers happy. I currently work for a company called Port, where we do an internal developer portal. So it's the best out of there. So if you are stuck with Backstage, come talk to me. And in my free time, I love spending time with my 5 cats, my 2 kids, and my 1 wife. And I love playing the game Half-Life, best game ever. Okay, so let's get started. Because it's short. I don't know exactly the timing of my live demo. I have a few slides, and then we will dive into live coding, okay? Because slides are boring. There we go. So no need to tell you that Gen AI has completely infused our lives nowadays, especially if you are in IT. Could be as a tool, as a developer, code assistants, and stuff like that. But also when you start working on projects and that you start infusing your apps with AI. So infused AI, AI-infused apps, that is a term invented by Clément Escoffier, and I really like it. Okay, so it's everywhere. And we are not here to talk about this because you're all aware of that. But one thing that we can agree on is the things we have to do over and over again when we start writing a new AI-infused app. Okay? And the first one is prompt engineering. Okay? So I think I was probably one of the first making jokes about prompt engineering. But no, now I realize it's a real thing. Okay? Part of the success of your infused Gen AI app will be your prompt. Okay, the LLM that you will choose is also really important, but writing a good prompt is crucial. And here I just have an example of a really simple prompt, and you can see here. So that is for OpenAI. We usually have a system prompt. And this morning, I was talking with James Ward. He says, no, let's not talk about system prompt, but let's talk about instructions. And I really love this term. So basically, you can give instructions to your LLM to say how it must behave. Okay? And then, of course, you have the user prompt. So in the case you are building a chatbot, it's probably the raw input of your user that he's typing in the chat box window or whatever, and you can just pass it as a user prompt, okay? If you're more on the agent side, so agents to agents or stuff like that, you might have more complex prompts. I don't know if some of you yesterday went to the talk of my friend Charles. It was in the big keynote room around 250, something like that. He explained how he's rebuilding an old game, a French game. And there he was showing how you can get way more complex prompts. So, that, oh, it's not there? I probably remove it. Okay, so I was about to show you. There it is. Yeah, let me show it there. So this is also a prompt. All of this. Okay, this is a system prompt. It starts here. Okay, I think it's in Python. Oh no, it's in Go. But you can make really, really complex prompts. And you can see there can be variables and, okay, so prompts can be quite complicated. And again, you start building your application, and you may have different AI services, okay? And for each AI services, you have a prompt or a prompt template. It could be a system prompt, a user prompt, a combination of that. Okay, you write your app, you push it to production, everyone is happy, especially the VCs, because you finally introduced AI in your company, and you start building your second app, okay? Okay, and again, you write some AI services, and again, you're starting to write some prompts. And then at one point, you realize that, hey, this prompt, this prompt, this prompt, and this prompt are exactly the same. That's stupid. I have to write it all. I have to write it all over again. It would be nice if there was a way for me to consume prompts from somewhere else, and those prompts could be maybe streamlined by my platform team, because they will decide exactly the system prompts that I am allowed to use, the system prompts that are perfectly matching the type of project that I'm working. Okay, so start thinking about that, streamlining prompts from a different place. So prompts are things that we are doing over and over again. And then we have something else. We have tools. So you probably heard it about tools. Maybe you heard the term of function calling. Basically, when you are sending a request to your LLM, what you can also pass along your prompts, you can also say, hey, listen, LLM, look at this. I have here some tools that if you think they need to be called, please, in the response, tell me that they need to be called. And you can say, hey, I have here a function that is called create ticket. Okay, you can give some description, and you can give all the parameters. So basically, I need a title here, and the description, and a priority. And then, of course, you have the system prompt, the user prompt, saying, hey, I have an issue with my bank account. Can you do something for me? Okay, and then the LLM, he will find out some stuff, because he's using probably RAG, he got some information, and he say, hey, yeah, probably the best thing I need to do is to create a ticket. So in the response, he will send back, hey, here's my response, and also please call the function create ticket with those parameters. Okay, it's super useful, super powerful, and yeah, but that's something that existed almost since the beginning of LLMs. Okay, we still haven't nothing to do with MCP. That's pretty boring to write yourself. You could do it yourself, and also keep in mind that it's just not one request. LLMs are stateless. Okay, so you might send this. This is a create ticket, so probably there's no return value, but it could be a get function, and then you call the get function, your application retrieves something from the database, and then you have to call the LLM again with the same tool description, but with the response of the cool tool. You could do that yourself, but luckily, most of the libraries that abstracts away from you the whole GenAI logic, like LangChain4j, make it really easy for you to use tools. So, and you will see that in a few minutes when I will start my live demos. For instance, if you are using LangChain4j with Quarkus, with the Quarkus extension, basically providing a tool to your LLM is just a matter of adding one annotation on your method. Here you say, hey, this method is a tool. You give it a good description. That is really important for the LLM. And here you say, hey, this tool is to create a task for the SNE. And then you have the implementation here. It's there's no implementation here. It's just logging. Okay, but just doing that, all the magic that I show you, all this stuff here, will be done for you. Okay? And then again, like before, you start writing your application, you have some prompts, you have some tools, okay, you put it in production, your boss is even happier, your VCs are even happier, you get the Series C even for that, and you start writing your second application. And again, you realize that this tool is exactly the same, okay? So it will be nice if I could extract those tools and put them somewhere, and that my app just can request those tools and pass them along to my LLMs. Okay, so keep that in mind, streamlining tools and prompts. Okay, and that's why MCP was invented. So this is a really simple graphic that shows you what MCP is in the end. I got my two applications. I might have some custom prompts, some custom tools that belong in my app, and that's totally okay. They can stay there. But those other tools that were just generic, I can put them in a remote server, and let's call that an MCP server, and he will be capable of doing stuff like giving me a list of tools and also executing the tools. And the whole magic happened here with the communication. And MCP is just this part. Okay? I'm really simplifying here and also demystifying everything that you're hearing about MCP, but MCP is just a protocol to define how this communication happened. Okay? Let me drink some water. And there we go. Okay, so how does it work exactly, MCP? You have this server, and of course, you have a client, our application. And we will call that an MCP client, but basically, it's a regular app which has a library which implements the MCP protocol as client. And you will have to initialize connection with your server. So here's really basic stuff. I initialize a request, I get a response, okay, and then we are ready to discuss together. Really important stuff, the transport mode between your MCP client and your MCP server. So most of the examples that you will find on the internet, tutorials, articles, are using the standard I/O. And I'm not sure why. It works well, but basically that means that you have to embed your MCP server inside your app, and then you use standard I/O. It's nice, maybe there are some nice use cases, but for me the really interesting part is the remote transport mode, where you can use HTTP SSE. So at the time of speaking now, the specification is still HTTP SSE. The new spec, which is not implemented everywhere, will be streamable HTTP, which is way better because it will be stateless. And what I will show you in my demos is using HTTP SSE, because in my opinion, that's the real power of MCP. Having an MCP server running, and then you have your clients making requests and tools. And you might think, wow, but is that not just like an API call or just like microservices? Totally. But it's cool. We are reinventing the wheel every 5 or 6 years. And everyone gets excited around it. But yeah, again, it's nice that we have finally a protocol to define this communication. What is MCP using as wire format? So it's using JSON RPC 2.0. Okay, so you have all the specs. I won't go through the specs because it's boring as hell. Okay, but and because most of the SDKs will abstract that away from you. But once you get the connection in place as a client, what can I do? For the tools part, I can discover all the tools that are available. I got an endpoint that is called tools/list that will give me back all the tools that I have. okay? And then at one moment when the LLM will respond me with, hey, you need to call that function, I can call an endpoint called tools call for this specific tool, and the MCP server will run this method, okay? Or this function, depending what you're doing. Same for the prompt. So that's also on the internet. Most of the samples, tutorials, articles that you will find are around tools. Okay, MCP does more than that. I present you here only two things. There's a third one, resources, that I don't cover here because I haven't played with it and I didn't really find a use case. But the other one is a prompt. And remember what I told you in the beginning, you have a prompt that could be streamlined by your platform team. And MCP can also serve you prompts. So again, there's an endpoint, and I made a mistake here. Let me fix it live here. It's list. There we go. OK. OK, so you can request all the prompts by calling the prompt list endpoint. That will give you all the prompts. And at any point, if you need a specific prompt, and you can pass some parameters like, hey, I'm using this Llama 3.2 model for this service, so I probably needed this prompt. So you can pass some parameter, and the MCP server will return you a prompt. What is a prompt? It's a string, okay, but you can go a step further. You could also have dynamic prompts. So you know the prompt that you're going to use, and you pass some variables because you know at the other side that your prompt is a template. And the MCP server will make sure to replace the placeholders with your variables, okay? I won't show you that because the SDK that I'm using with Quarkus does that already on the client side. But basically, that's what MCP is. Oh, cool. Demo time. OK, so now I'm going to show you concretely how MCP works. All the three small demos that I'm going to show you, they are available here, so you can take a picture of that. There's a QR code. It's a mini lab, so you can, all the instructions are there. And yeah, you can use it anytime you want. If you find any typos or things that could be better, just make a pull request. I will be more than happy to merge that pull request. OK, so let's go here. So that's the repo. Let me explain you what we are going to do. So I got here an application which is called the meeting bot. The meeting bot is, as the name suggests, a bot that will help me answering questions about meetings. And how does it work? So I have here some transcripts of a meeting. So basically, it's about pushing into production a new feature called Super Cache. And with Philippe, Marie, Karim, and Betty discussing that. So that is just before going to production. That is during going production. And of course, all the things go wrong. And the third one is the retrospective. Why did it get wrong? What should we do better? OK? And then I have my AI service. And here you can see, I don't know if you ever used Quarkus AI before, but basically, it's just a matter of defining an interface and use the annotation register AI service, OK? Then we have our system message. Remember the instruction. So you are an AI answering questions about Teams meeting. You will try to answering by summarizing the meeting with short sentences. When actions need to be taken, you add a task to the system. Okay? And finally, as parameter of my signature here, I passed the user message, which is the user in the chat box. He can ask any questions. That is all I need to do. And here you might notice, hey, I got here tools. So here what I say, for this AI service, I want to use tools. What is a tool? And that is just exactly, basically, it's a screenshot of the, well, what you saw on the slide was a screenshot of this. Okay? Here I have this method, create tasks, and I just annotate it with tool. But this class here, tools, is living for now in my application. Okay, so let's try it out. And just, it's not really in the scope of this talk, but I'm using some RAG here. And just to keep it easy, I'm using an extension here, which is called EasyRag, okay? So I don't need to deal with any vector databases or stuff like that. It's doing embeddings on the fly in memory. And all I need to do in my application is saying, hey, this is where my resources are, okay? So if you want to do some easy RAG with Quarkus, that's a good way to go. Anyway, let's start this application. Let's see if it's working. That's great. I'm in the wrong meeting. I was in the wrong folder. There we go. Looking. OK, so and as LLM, I'm using Llama 3.2 with Ollama running locally, which is here. So I got my Ollama. OK, cool. So probably it looks like it's running. And if I go here to local host 8080, I have my meeting buddy. And here I can say, hey, can you summarize the meeting? OK, so that's a classic question. Here, no magic happening. Here's a summary of the meeting. So he explained me everything that's happened based on the transcript. Cool. And what I can do as well is, can you assign the tasks? So here, Betty, Karim probably have some stuff to do because, the going to production went completely wrong. And so I'm asking him this. And let me go here to my... Cool. So here we can see in the logs that creating a task for Philippe with the current content, integrate improvement into deployment playbook. Catch pot, OK. So it's still AI. When I did my rehearsal, I created 3 different tasks. Here is just creating 1 task. But the good thing is, he's calling my tools. OK, cool. Let's create an MCP server for this tool class, because maybe I will have other AI services that need to consume this create task tool. OK, so let me close this. There we go. And let me delete this class. I delete this class. There we go. Cool. And let me remove this because, it doesn't exist anymore. Come on, why can I? Oh, that is when I'm nervous. I cannot even select text. Oh, there we go. Cool. Let me save that. We are all good. And let's create an MCP server. So here I have a completely empty app. I should have, OK. And the only thing that I did here is adding a dependency from Quarkus, which is called MCP server SSE. OK, so just by adding that, this application can act as an MCP server. And I just go there and I create a new file. Let's call it tools.java. OK. And here I can start writing my tools. And because I got only 6 minutes, wow, time flies, I go here to my instructions. Instructions, remember, I will put back the QR code. No, that's not the correct README. I say, what the fuck is that? OK, there we go, MCP server. And here I will create my tools. OK, ooh, that's funny because I said I didn't give any instructions here. I say, find it out yourself. OK, so I will find it out myself. That's not a problem. So let me create a tool. OK. And what can I pass to this tool? I can pass it a description, create a task for the attendee. OK, attendee. And then I create my method, public. It will return a tool response. And I create a task. And here I say for the attendee and content. Yeah. And Copilot is playing with me. Let me say, return tool responses created. I should not trust. String test, OK. Something like that. And here I say, to return a new, probably to response. I said before I want to remove success. Yeah, success. And I say, yay, okay? If it's a get tool, here you probably don't want to return yay, but you really want to return what the tool gives, okay? Cool, I'm done with my MCP server. I can probably run it, so if I go there and I open a new, I go to my MCP server, and I do MCP MVN Quarkus dev. Okay, that will run my server, and I should be careful. It's running on the port 8082. Okay, now I need to do something. So my server is ready. He's ready to make a connection with any client. I need to modify a little bit my meeting bot. So what do I need to do? Let me go back to my README and read the instructions. I need to add an MCP client. So let me take this dependency here, and let me go to my meeting bot in my POM, and I here just add this dependency, okay? And of course, there's no completely magic. I need to tell my application, my client application, where my MCP server is running. And that's pretty easy. It's just a few stuff that I need to add to the properties. There we go. And I need to change I'm here. Okay, there we go. Here I say, okay, basically I want to use HTTP. Okay, and you need to connect to 82. I need to update the instructions. Yeah, and that should be good. Okay, so let's go back here and let's run my meeting bot again. Ingesting documents, so that's the easy work part here that you say. See, that is all. Okay, cool. And yeah, let's try it again. So let me refresh that, the meeting bot, and I say, hey, can you assign the tasks, please? Okay. And let's see what's happened. So now here, nothing should happen in my app, okay, because I don't have any tools. But you can see here some communication. And what should happen here, that is the log of my MCP server. And of course, demo gods are playing with me. Can you assign the task, please? What he's telling to me. I hear the task unassigned. Yeah. So normally my MCP server, so let me just, let's turn it off and on again. So let me try my server, and let me just double check that I didn't miss anything. Tools. Let me make that a singleton, even if it's not used, but you never know, okay? There we go. Meeting bot, application properties. You got here my POM. What did you say what I did wrong? I'm not logging. Oh, I got some great port socks and stickers for you because you're totally right. I got 1 minute 20, which is like a lot of time. But yeah, let me do that. So let me go back here in my tools, and I say, let's say log.info, and let me put. Yeah, so it was probably working already, but yeah, I was not logging anything. So let me do that again. Okay. So, good thing that Quarkus is so fast. There we go. Anyway, I can probably take 1 minute because I am the last talk of the day. There we go. Let me refresh and say, hey, can you assign the tasks? Okay. And this time, if I go back here, there are some errors there. Whoa! unresolved oh, I have a compilation issue? What is the log? Oh, come on. There we go. Imports. Why do we need imports? Okay, I just show you that. And don't worry, I won't have time. I wanted to show you the prompt part, but again, it's all available in the instructions. And it's funny, you can really inject prompts. The guys from Quarkus didn't really like that. And when I say the guys, I say Clément Escoffier. He was really scared that we could do that with Quarkus, but we can do it. Let me just do it again. Assign the tasks. Assign the task, there we go. And this time in my MCP server, there you can see create a task for Karim, create a task for Mary and Betty. So it's all working. Give me just 1 second because that's why people are paying me for come here. Other great thing is all this information you get around MCP, there's a lot of metadata. Descriptions, you can describe every parameter, and that means that you can consume that and make that available to your platform. And what you could do is really inject that into your portal. I'm currently playing on one extension of my portal I'm working for, a port where you will be able to have catalogs of all the different tools that you all have, all the different prompts. And for me, that's a real power of MCP. MCP and platform engineering are really the perfect combo. And I'm still here tomorrow, though, if you want to have other demos, questions, anything, that's it. And it was, again, a pleasure. I hope you enjoy it. And let's meet all together tonight at the DevRocks party. Thank you so much.